Hi, my name is Elfayoumy, and in this video I'll be going over the final medium fidelity prototype for improving Amazon's return process on their mobile devices. So this version combines the two most successful ideas I had from my first design cycle, which was the return eligibility banner and then the progress timeline. So I think together they make it pretty easy for users to see how long they have to return an item, and then also how far along they are in that process of returning it. So I'll basically just take you through the full flow from start to finish, and then along the way I'll just explain the reasoning behind each design choice. So we can start over here. At the very top, you see how the new return eligibility banner that clearly shows how long the the item is returnable. So in this example, you can see it's return eligible through November 15th, 2025. This was probably the most requested feature in my early surveys. I feel like a lot of the users said that they often couldn't find the return deadline. So that caused that sort of unnecessary frustration. So now the banner appears on every screen during that process. So the information is pretty front and center. And then right below the banner, there's the new horizontal progress timeline. So it shows 4 steps, right? We have select item, choose reason, confirm method, and done. The active step is bolded, so the user always knows exactly like where they are in that process. So on this screen, the user just taps the item that they want to return, and then once it's selected, the timeline moves them to step 2. And then in step 2, we choose the reason. All right, so why we return this item? So here the users can pick from a pretty simple list of reasons, such as like defective, or the item was not as it was described, or I just no longer need it. Pretty generic reason lists. There's also an optional comment box for more details if they want to put that. The layout is pretty clean. That's intentional. There's a lot of white space, so users can really focus on one decision at a time. And the progress bar also remains visible throughout the whole entire time, so it updates as soon as the next step begins. And this design directly supports the heuristic for visibility of system status. So users always know what stage they're in. They don't have to really guess on how many steps are left. They kind of see it right there in front of them. And then once the reason is selected, the user taps next, which I'll show you in a second, and moves them on to step 3 in the timeline. So this is step 3. This is confirm method. So the users can see, or they can now choose how to send the item back. So either through a UPS pickup or a drop off at a nearby UPS store, or if you're familiar with Amazon, they'll have multiple locations where you can drop them off within a store. So each option includes a short description and then any extra details like available hours or the location of the return location. And then in my user tests, people said that they wanted a more transparent view of their choices without really feeling overwhelmed by that extra text. So I designed these cards to be a little bit more simple and scannable, using pretty clear labels and short summaries. So if the user wants to go back and then change their reason or the item is selected, they can just tap back to the previous step on the timeline without losing the progress they had in their current step. So this, supports user control and freedom, which is also another key principle. And then this moves us on to step 4, the final step, right? Done. So this confirmation screen kind of gives pretty immediate feedback that the return has been completed and submitted. So you'll notice that pretty large green check mark and the simple message saying return submitted. And then to follow up on that, you'll see below it there's like a clear follow-up instruction. So it says you'll receive an email confirmation shortly along with the return ID number, right? So in case you want to track it. I feel like this gives it, or gives the user pretty strong closure and reassurance that the process is all the way complete. I think adding this kind of visual feedback to that green check mark came directly from the user comments in my evaluation phase, where a lot of the people that I spoke with said that they wanted stronger confirmation that their return actually went through. Um, and to summarize, this redesign really focuses on three things, right? And it's visibility, guidance, and confidence. The return eligibility banner solves the biggest pain point from the surveys, so users no longer have to search through menus just to find out if their item is even returnable. The progress timeline gives pretty constant orientation, which reduces uncertainty and it helps users actually understand how many steps are left. And then the overall layout streamlines that whole process from down to just 4 simple stages instead of the 5 or the 6 screens that Amazon's current app has. So I feel like these small changes are really meaningful, and they were inspired by that feedback that I got from my early evaluation. And yeah, this concludes the walkthrough of my final Amazon return prototype. Thank you for watching, and I hope this demonstration shows how thoughtful and user-centered adjustments can really make a pretty familiar process seem a lot more transparent. Thank you.